At Polytechnique now, they call it the Order of the White Rose.
J'invite maintenant Madame Nathalie Provost.
For me, and probably for many people here, you symbolize the interrupted dreams of my classmates.
A scholarship for female engineering students to help reach a potential that 14 murdered young women could not. The 14 white roses are for them. Nathalie Provost, the survivor, champion of those lives lost and those about to flourish.
I would like to take your hand. I hold your hand so that this closeness between us, despite the passage of time, will make you share our innocence.
You actively held their hands. And looking on, I wondered what that meant and what the purpose of that was.
For me, it's the reminder of where we were 30 years ago. We were standing up, alive, in front of him just before he shot. And I think that's a very strong symbol, to be alive, standing up with them.
How she survived, she'll never understand. Shot 3 times in the head and legs.
I remember falling on the floor. I remember hearing his footsteps leaving the classroom. I tried to get out because I was able to stand up. I walked to the door. I opened it just the smallest I can and with no noise. And he was there to watch us,
Yeah.
to block the entry. And then I came back. I told the girls, faites-les mortes.
Play dead.
Play dead. And we waited.
I was so terrified by seeing somebody killing my friends.
She was speaking out from the very start.
Was that I asked every girl in Quebec and everywhere in the world who wants to be an engineer to keep this idea in their mind, because engineering is a great profession.
Generous with the next generation even right away, but also eventually deeply angry and deep in another cause, gun control, starting with the gun used to shoot her.
What would surprise Canadians right now about that weapon?
That is still an unrestricted weapon. In some states, in United States, right now, they are more protected. They have a better gun control than what we have here.
There aren't many families or survivors who talk so openly. Most are private in their grief, but in the gun control battle, Nathalie Provost has company.
Most of the assault weapons in Canada are restricted, like the 6-hour MCX, which was...
Heidi Rathjen. She escaped bullets that day, won't call herself a survivor, though. A fighter? Yes. Soon after graduation, she formed the Coalition for Gun Control.
In my head, I was doing it for 6 months. Turned into a year, so it ended up being 6 years.
And that was supposed to be it, because after all, in 1995, the Firearms Act came into being, a direct response to the massacre. The act decreed the licensing and registration of firearms.
When the law passed in December of '95, we had a party, and the families were there celebrating with us. And they said this is probably the most concrete, meaningful homage to the memory of the 14 victims, because they know that it will save more lives than those that were taken on that fateful day.
All those in favor of the motion will please rise.
Celebrations didn't last. The long gun registry disappeared under Stephen Harper. Other features of the act were dismantled too. So Heidi Rathjen is again surrounded by her gun control files, getting angrier and sadder all the time.
The witnesses and the families of the victims just want the death of their sisters and daughters not to be in vain. So 30 years is a long time. And for a lot of them, it's starting to be too long.
Imagine the long gone registry would have been a building. Nobody would have destroyed a building because it's an asset. information system is an asset, and we let the government destroy an asset. From an engineer point of view, it's incredible.
Je veux faire avancer notre pays.
She's angry at Stephen Harper too, but then, in a way, angrier at Justin Trudeau. She believed the laws would get passed when he had a majority government. She even joined the Firearms Advisory Committee. But she quit a few months ago in frustration so she could speak freely.
And I think I had to publicly say no, it was not enough. And I cannot act as if I'm happy. I am not. I remember there's a picture of myself and Mr. Trudeau on the 25th anniversary where I believed.
You don't believe anymore?
I hope.
I humbly give you my hope and my faith in you.
She admits to a loneliness about all this, about bearing witness again and again and continuing to fight without yet winning. 30 years is a long time to talk about hope.
There were fresh signs the Liberals intend to do something on gun control in yesterday's throne speech.
The government will crack down on gun crime, banning military-style assault rifles and taking steps to introduce a buyback program.
Encouraging words for gun control advocates, but it's the facts that worry them. While fully automatic weapons are banned, with the right certification, you can get most semi-automatic handguns and a wide range of military-style rifles. More than 300,000 Canadians already own weapons like this. So there's talk of a buyback program. Many of Canada's mass shootings, including Dawson College in Montreal in 2006, Moncton in 2014, and the Quebec City mosque shooting in 2017, involved legally obtained firearms.